the way that you handle your money is a direct reflection of your own self-worth. And in the same way, the way that you value yourself, the ways in which you respect yourself, the innate self-worth that you have around yourself is going to determine how much money you make or manifest. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. It's been on my mind a lot recently. It's been something that I'm honestly kind of going into 2023, like devoting my time and energy to just embodying more, stepping into deeper, learning more about financial literacy is like top of my list of things that I really want to dive even deeper into this year. Being a business owner, I've learned the importance, and especially, I will say, especially being a female business owner, I've learned the importance of knowing how to talk money, knowing how to handle your money, also knowing how to handle yourself, and seeing over the course of the last 2+ years since I've started on this journey of self-development, of manifestation, of completely transforming, changing my life and myself, the correlation between when I'm giving to myself and what I'm able to then receive or make in return. So I really want to talk about that today. This is something that I come back to, a concept that I come back to again and again and again. And I feel like once it clicks for people, of course, we can fall off, we can have hiccups in our life, that's normal. But once it clicks, you know that you have that foundation to support you as you move forward in coming back to your self-worth and knowing that ultimately you're the one who supports you. You are the one who supports everything that you create in this life. It's all created from you. It's all rooted in you. So understanding that importance also as it applies to money is something that I think everyone needs to know. And once this clicks for you, it will stick for you. So I'm sharing it with you today. If you are new here, hi, I'm Brooke, and you are either watching or listening to the Good Fucking Energy podcast, I will link everything down below. My socials, the links to Spotify or Apple. I'll link the new YouTube down below as well. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hi, I know that you can see me right now. I'm still so new to this whole filming thing. Yeah, we're gonna work with it. We're gonna get used to it. I mean, I should be used to it because I do, I film TikToks, but I feel like recording a podcast is so different because sometimes when I record my podcast, I mentioned in the first episode that I recorded on YouTube too, I will sit in my bed in the morning and just let it out. Like I'll just intuitively let it flow. Maybe sometimes I'll have like notes up that I'll look to help me stay on track. And when you're video recording, it's a bit different. So I don't have my notes up. I'm just kind of winging it. I'm just kind of, here we are. I mean, I'm not winging it. I know exactly what we're talking about, but it's just different. It's something that I'm going to get used to, but I'm really excited to kind of see where now having a YouTube channel will take me, because sometimes there's TikToks that I want to record and I just have too much to say where I try to fit it into like a 1-minute video and I'm just like, this is fucking impossible. So I just never end up sharing certain information. And it's something that I actually would have never seen myself having a YouTube channel, but also I never saw myself sharing anything online really. So here we are. And that kind of flows with what we're talking about today, because we're also talking about like higher self, next level self embodiment, and knowing the goals that you want to reach and then who you need to become and the actions that you need to take in order to take them. So I think this is kind of a perfect segue. I'm just going to start here. And I want to also clarify that when I say who you need to become, it's never about losing yourself. It's never about leaving behind your truth or the core of you. It's actually always awakening that more, coming home to that more. Because the thing is that the desires that you hold are given to you for a reason, right? Like I'm not over here wanting to be a brain surgeon. That's not what I'm supposed to do. When I think back to what I've wanted to do my whole life, just naturally, the things that came natural to me, the things that I was interested in. I was just talking to a friend about this the other night, but it all makes sense where it has led me. It all makes sense that I am here right now speaking to you about mindset, manifestation, money, business, spirituality. Like, these are all things that when you look back in my life, there's been breadcrumbs that have led me here. Now, that won't be true for everyone, right? It kind of depends on also the conditioning that you had in your childhood. Maybe you actually are, your true self is a very outgoing person, but because of some conditioning that you've had in your childhood, you have closed off to the world. You've become a bit more internalized and shy. So we have to take that into account. But whatever you desire to do right now, whatever calls to you, and when you think of that dream life, you think of that dream career, the things that you want to achieve, right? And since we're talking about money today, let's talk money, okay? Let's talk money and success here. So you want to make $1 million. You want to make $1 million in a year, and you want to, I'm going to kind of like pull off my own experience here, right? Because we know ourselves the best. So I can share a bit about my own story. So, you want to make a certain amount of money, and you also know, in my case, that I knew that I wanted to help people. That was always at the core of me my whole life. I knew that I wanted to help people. I also was always interested in art and fashion. When I was the youngest, I wanted to be like an actress, a fashion designer, and a business owner. Like, I was obsessed with making little businesses, and I was also always into like witchy shit. Like, I was finding crystals since I was a little kid, and talking to angels, and like just doing kind of like stuff that probably a lot of people were like, this kid's weird. But it all led me here. So where was I going with that thought? Okay, so the goal that, I knew that I had in life is I want to be financially free. I also want to have freedom and flexibility in my time and in my schedule. And I really want to help people. And I want to have a business. I want to have some type of business. I honestly didn't know when I first started. So if you don't know what you want yet, that's totally cool too. I actually did not know what I wanted at all, and it all came to me in one download all one night. But really, the intention I had originally set for that was just asking the universe to lead me, to guide me, and knowing what I wanted, right? Again, I wanted to help people. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted flexibility in my schedule. I wanted to own a business. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to work for myself. And that was basically all that I knew. And it just came to me as a download to start my jewelry brand. And it also came to me in that same night, literally the same time. And I had looked over at my boyfriend and literally said, like, write this down because I'm going to do this. And I said, I'm going to create a crystal jewelry brand, and I am going to become a coach. I'm going to help people. I'm going to teach them about mindset and manifestation. And this was early on in my own kind of journey of, I had just finished a holistic health course. I was in a neuro-linguistic programming course, so I was learning all about the subconscious mind. I was fascinated in spirituality and manifestation. I was learning about all of these things, and I knew, like, okay, this is changing my life so much, so quickly. This is my thing. This is what I'm going to show people. How could I not? How could I not when it's changed my life already? And that's perfect for me, right? Like, I want to help people. So the next download for me was to create a TikTok, which was so random. And so I guess it's not random now, but this was like was it 2020? I think it was 2020. I want to say it was like March or April 2020. And I, like, really at the start of the pandemic, that was very much not like me, or the me that I was back then. I was a little bit, not even a little, I was very, very self-conscious, very insecure, and did not love myself, although I was working on it. I was working on all of these things, but like I said, this was the beginning of my healing journey. So yes, I was learning amazing tools, and yes, I was beginning to change my life, but I still had so much healing to do, but I still got this download, and so I did it. And I started my Instagram account, and I just started sharing things. And it it wasn't, if you would have asked me months before that if I would ever do that, I would have said absolutely fucking not. I think even in the moment I would have said, like, this isn't me, this isn't something that I do. But the thing is that I wasn't being me, or the me that I had identified as up until that point, which was a lie, right? Which was just the result of all of the conditioning in my life up until that point, all of the traumas of my life, all of the things that made me feel small and incapable and made me forget of even some of my childhood dreams, like I said, of being an actress. Like when I was younger, I did theater. And then as I got older, I became embarrassed of that kind of stuff and stopped doing it. Like when I went into, I think it was when I went into either middle school or high school, I was like, I'm not doing anything anymore. Like, got that whole persona of like being too cool for anything, and literally did not do shit, which that's a whole other story that I kind of regret. So if you're in high school, like, do stuff. Don't think you're too cool to do stuff. But anyways, I that was like at the core of me. Like I was always good at public speaking, but as I grew up, especially through high school, where I find even through my own clients, that's where a lot of our conditioning takes place, is in high school. That's where we lose a lot of our true essence. I made myself feel like, one of my biggest limiting beliefs that I dropped actually was, who gives a fuck what I have to say? I used to tell myself that all the time, and would kind of make myself be quiet because of that, because I just thought, who cares like what I have to say? Why would anybody care like about me? And so I just let myself be small. I let myself just kind of be in the background, and didn't have this like outgoing, I was still outgoing in smaller circles, but not this like public facing outgoing essence of me anymore. Anyways, so that is who I ended up becoming, a me, a version of me that wasn't my true me. So when I say, when you have a goal and you think of this goal that you want to accomplish, and you have this desire, right? You have that desire for a reason. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't want to be a brain surgeon. I don't want to be I don't know, a pilot, right? Like, these aren't things that I want to be, because they aren't a part of my true essence. It's not a part of my soul purpose. It's not what I'm meant to do in this life. But the things that I do want to accomplish are in alignment with my true essence, whether I have the awareness that I have those qualities at this moment or not, right? In my example, again, I wanted to help people, and I was getting these downloads to be public, to show up online. And when you want to make money, you want to work for yourself, you want to be financially free and have freedom in your time, where's the best place to create a job in today's day and age? Online, right? Like, it's a no-brainer. You can reach hundreds, thousands, millions of people from sitting down and recording something for 1 hour, or writing one Instagram post, or filming one TikTok, where this was not available to people years ago, right? 20 plus years ago. This was not even an option. So we have this gift in our hands to make money, to be seen, to share whatever our gift is with the world, but that's going to require showing up and sharing with the world. So in that, my true essence was that I was outgoing, was that I wanted to, I wasn't afraid of being seen when I was younger, but as I got older, I was very afraid of being seen. So a part of understanding your true heart's desires, of knowing what you really want, and then going after that, is defining, who do I need to become to make that happen? And knowing that who that you need to become is who you really are. Those characteristics are pieces of you that you have just forgotten, or that you haven't awoken within you yet, because you wouldn't want that thing if you didn't have every capability within you to make it happen. So when we desire a certain amount of money, a certain career, a certain amount of success, or a certain, idea of success in our lives, it's because we have everything within us to achieve that. We just may not be embodying those qualities yet. So when we ask ourselves, who do I need to become to make that happen? You aren't losing your truth. You aren't losing who you really are. You're actually shedding the false self that you have picked up on through conditioning through your whole life, and you're stepping into your true essence. And yeah, it's fucking scary at first, right? Because we've lived as this false self for however long, and our mind plays all these crazy tricks on us to make us believe that that is who we are, but it's just a story. It's just a layers of limiting beliefs that are on top of you that hid you from who you truly are. And I believe that coming home to who we truly are is a forever process, right? Like who I am today versus who I was 3 years ago when I started on this journey is completely different. I value myself, which we're going to talk about. I value myself on a whole other level than I did back then. Back then, I did not value myself. And again, what we're going to talk about too is how that correlates to the success you're able to have and the amount of money that you are able to make then as well when you wake up to your value and when you start valuing yourself. I'm a completely different person than I was 3 years ago, but I am also going to be a completely different person 3 years from now. And I can already see the next level of me and who I need to become moving forward to accomplish my next level of goals and the things that I desire, which again, each new level of desires are meant for you. You desire what you desire because it is meant for you, and you already have everything within you that you need to accomplish it. You just need to wake up to it. For example, doing YouTube, right? Like this is not something that definitely 3 years ago I ever would have said I would have done. And even for some reason, I had so much resistance to this 3 months ago. It was starting to kind of like get in my mind back then, but 6 months ago, a year ago, I had resistance to this. I was like, I could never be me, but it is me, right? Like I'm doing it right now. If you're doing it, it's you. It's just dropping those additional layers of whatever lack of self-value and self-worth that I had, that told me that I couldn't, that told me that I wasn't enough, that told me that there was some reason why, I can do these other things, but you can't do that. But when I think of the goals that I have, again, coming back to, I want to reach people, I want to help people, I have shit that I want to say. When I come back to these goals, I see when I ask, well, what would she do? What does this version of me who's accomplished that, what does she do? She shows up online on every platform. Like it's nothing, right? And although that might not be something that this current version of me sees herself doing, I know that it is within me because the version of me who lives that life that I'm manifesting now does do that. And it's all about closing that gap. It's all about bringing that version of you who is already living the vision, that dream life that you want to manifest, down to where you are now. We're not bringing it down, but more raising yourself up to meet yourself there. So let's just dial it all back real quick and talk about your self-worth and really how that affects honestly everything. It really is all rooted in your self-worth, in yourself, your value, and your self-love. And this is something I struggled with for honestly my whole life. It really was like my whole life I struggled with my self-worth, and again, so insecure, just didn't see any value in myself, didn't see any worthiness of anything in myself, and really was my own worst enemy. And I think sometimes more than we realize, you may be hearing me say this and say, well, I think I'm worthy of these things, and I think I value myself, and I know my worth, right? You can say I know my worth, but do you treat yourself like that? And that's what I want to get at today in this podcast episode, is really because the way that you treat yourself is going to determine what you can create from that, what you can manifest from that, the amount of money that you can make from that. It all comes back to your self-worth, but not just saying that you're worthy, but actually embodying it, actually living it. Because we can think that we're worthy of our goals, of our manifestations, but do we treat ourselves like we are worthy of those goals and those manifestations? Are we supporting ourselves because we value ourselves, because we see our value and our worth enough? Are we supporting ourselves to achieve those goals, to achieve those manifestations? Or are we just kind of saying it without any body, without any heart behind it, right? So you can say that you are worthy of great things. You can say that you are worthy of your goals. But if you treat yourself, if you look in the mirror and you're saying negative things to yourself, if you are telling yourself you're not capable, if you aren't setting yourself up for success, if you are blatantly doing things that are self-sabotage, right? And whether in the moment we know it's self-sabotage or not, if you can look back at the ways that you've been living your life the last 6 months, the last year, the last month, the last few weeks, the last few days, if you can look back and see that you have been doing actions that aren't in alignment with the version of you who is already living those goals, who has already actualized those goals that you want to achieve, that's self-sabotage. Anything that is not moving in alignment with the version of you who would create and live that life is self-sabotage. It's holding yourself back. It's keeping yourself as this small version of you, which again is just the result of years and years and years of conditioning, of layers of limiting beliefs. It's not who you really are, but you're keeping yourself there, whether it's through, in my past, it was like partying and drinking all the time and doing shit that was not healthy for my body and just hurting myself, really hurting myself. And how is that at all something that my next level self would do, right? One of my biggest concepts, and this is going to change your life because it's changed mine, is realizing that you are your MVP. You are your most valuable player. So you have these goals, you have this monetary goal. You want to manifest $1 million and you want to create, let's just say you want to create a business. Even if you don't want to fill that in the blank with, you want to be the CEO of your company or the president of your company, or you want to, whatever it is what you want to do. But we're just going to, for sake of explanation, say that you want to manifest $1 million and you want to create a successful business, okay? So if you say, yes, I'm worthy of that, I'm worthy of $1 million, I'm worthy of creating a successful business and owning a successful business, if you are saying I'm worthy of this $1 million and I'm worthy of having a successful business, but the way that you are valuing yourself is you are not supporting yourself to make that happen, right? You see the version of yourself, you know what she or he does to make that happen, right? And you don't have to know the whole how of it all, but well, how would they live their life? They would probably be, and again, I'm just throwing out examples of my own life personally, because that's what I can most easily draw from to give you examples. But when I think of my next level self, and even when I was thinking of, 3 years ago, of the version of myself that I am now, and I asked myself, what does she do, right? She prioritizes her self-care and her spirituality. She meditates daily. She gets movement in. She cares about her health and her well-being and her mental health, right? Because especially I know, and the more success I've grown in my life, the more I see the importance, which I've always known the importance, or not always, but the last 3 years since my journey to all of this, I've known the importance of mental health. But when I see myself growing my business to the next level, holy shit, I know mental health has got to be top priority. My entire health, right? My entire system and able to show up as my best self every single fucking day is my top priority. Why? Because I'm the MVP and so are you. All of these goals that I have, no one's going to do them for me. No one's coming to do them for me. It's me. It's got to be me. I want to be the one that makes X amount of money. I want to be the one that builds this successful business. Whatever else your goals are, right? You're going to be the one to do it So you need to support yourself to do it. You may think that you're worthy of it, but are you valuing yourself? Are you investing in yourself in the proper ways to support yourself to do that? Again, for example, for you to be able to apply this in your life is, what is your self-talk? How are you talking to yourself when you look in the mirror, when you're getting dressed in the morning, when you are sitting down to work on something? What is the voice inside of your head saying? Are you enabling yourself to do these things and to show up as your best self, even if right now you know that you're still living and experiencing the results of everything that has led up to this point? So you're still essentially what will eventually be your old you, right? You know, when you look in the mirror right now, you know, when you show up to the gym and you are, just starting your fitness journey, you are still your old self. You're still in this starting position. But if you keep seeing yourself as that self, you will not get to that next level self. You need to see yourself as that next level self, support yourself as that next level self, and treat yourself like that next level self in order to become that next level self. And then it happens naturally, right? It's not some sort of like woo-woo shit. Like, I'm all for the woo-woo shit, but it's definitely not. It's like very logical. It's very cut and dry, plain and simple, that if you act like the version of you who already has the things that you want, you will be that version of you. How could you not? You are doing everything that they do. So of course you are that version of you. It is inevitable. And taking those steps day after day after day, consistency is key here, right? That success that you want to achieve is inevitable. As long as you adopt the mindsets of it is inevitable and keep going, keep believing. And even though, it may be a week and you see no change, it may be 2 weeks and you see no change, it may be a month and you see no change, you keep believing that you are that version of you. You keep aligning, you keep showing up. I'm telling you, it's inevitable. So the first step is valuing yourself, not just saying that you value yourself, not just saying that you are worthy of it, but actually putting the action behind it. Valuing yourself like the version of you who has that $1 million business, who has whatever it is that you want to manifest, whatever goals you want to manifest this year in 2023, or whenever you're watching this or listening to this. But you start showing up for yourself like you are that version of yourself. Now, when you think of the person you're becoming, when you think of your next level self, some people say higher self. I guess I use them interchangeably, but I say next level self a lot because I think of like a graduation. I think of like who I'm becoming, right? And when you think of your next level, what you are working towards right now, you probably have hella respect for her, right? Like, you probably think she's the shit, right? Or else why would you want to like kind of be going towards becoming that? You think she's the shit, you think she's cool, you think she has her shit together, you think you can see this picture of all of the stuff that you really like about her, that you really respect about her. And if you then look at your own self right now, and then you look at your current self in the mirror, and you don't have that same level of respect and gratitude and love and admiration for the version of you that you're looking at in the mirror right now, how do you ever expect to become that next level version of you? It all starts right now. And this can be, break it down. It can be small. It can be little things that just support you in showing up as your best self. Like I was saying, when you realize you are the MVP of your life, when you realize that you're the one who's going to make these goals happen, you realize how important your self-care is. You realize that you need to have a strong self-worth and be actively supporting that through the actions you take. I'll just speak to me to not put words in your mouth, but my next level self is prioritizing her self-care. She's making sure that she is, above all else, putting herself first, because I know that if my cup is not full, I will have nothing to give to others. And when my purpose is to help people, and even if your purpose isn't to help people or you know, even if your purpose is beyond that, still to achieve your goals, you need to make sure that you have a cup to pour from, because you're still going to be giving regardless. There's still things that will be needed from you, and you're going to have to pour. You're going to have to give parts of yourself. Also, I just have to say, I've seen my angel number like all 3 times that I've looked at the number, I've seen my angel number. We're just gonna put that out there. Okay, that's confirmation for us. So the universe wants us to really embody this, and probably it's like a little bit at me too, like show up more for yourself. But this is something that I keep, as I level up, I keep grounding myself in more and more, because there's new levels of, like I said, where I'm going next. Like mental health is going to be so huge, just health in general, because running a business takes a lot from you. And I need to make sure that I'm supporting myself to always be like on my shit, and not just like on my shit intellectually and able to, you know, make shit happen and make moves, but also that I feel good. Whatever's happening outside of me, like I'm solid, I'm good, like I know where I'm going, and I'm unshakable. Like nothing can rattle me. Like I'm just solid. And again, each new level, I get more of that, especially from starting from where I was. I'm so proud of where I am now. But I know to up level to the next level of business that I'm wanting to get to, where we're playing with like big numbers, and it's like big shit going on around me, right? I'm gonna need to really be solid in just not being rattled by stuff. Like what may get me a little shaken up now, like at that next level, that's going to be nothing to me. It wouldn't even cross my mind. So I need to prepare myself for that now. What is that going to take from me? That means that, you know, I need to be prioritizing my self-care. I need to be showing up for myself and making sure that I'm good, that I have a full cup to pour from, that I've done, you know, all of my needed rituals that help me stay grounded and connected to my soul, to my true self, to my spirituality, that I'm getting movement and getting outside and just supporting myself to be a healthy human, right? I think all of us can benefit from that. So if you're like, well, where do I even start? Start there. How can you support yourself more to be a healthy human? Because if you are supporting your health, spiritual, mental, physical, if you are supporting that, you're going to be able to show up as your fully charged self, as your like filled to the brim, ready to go self. But if you aren't doing those things, how do we expect you to be able to do the challenging things that are inevitable on the path to achieving our goals? And I'm not saying that to be negative. It's just a part of achieving goals. It's a part of growth. Is there's going to be challenges and lessons to overcome. That's how growth happens. So we need to be making sure that we're preparing our bodies and our minds and ourselves for that. So if you don't know where to start on valuing yourself and taking care of yourself in order to manifest more this year, in order to attract more money and abundance and just all around good shit in your life this year, start there. Start just by imagining the version of you who already has everything that you're wanting to achieve, and think about how they must take care of themselves. Think about how they show up every single day, right? Like this is such a simple thing, but like one of my daily habits this year is doing my skincare morning and night, because sometimes, you know, I slack at night or whatever, you know, I'll just like take off my makeup, but I won't do my skincare. But I'm like, that version of me who knows she is the MV fucking P, who knows she's like a boss bitch, who's running a huge business, who is like, I always think of like my like up-leveled version, the version of myself that I'm becoming. I like, this is maybe like a funny word, but it hits for me. And that's the thing. You always want to find what hits for you. I always say like, she's like expensive. Like she knows she's expensive. She knows she's, you know, that can be another word for like, she's worthy of it. Like I am worthy of that 5 minutes of doing my skincare every single night. Little things like that that allow you to indulge in those moments of self-care and self-worth as well are going to be extremely valuable for you. And it expands into everything. It expands into how you handle yourself in relationships, how you handle yourself at work, the boundaries that you have, what you say is acceptable and what is not acceptable from people around you. It expands into everything because you realize I'm the motherfucking VIP. I am already the version of myself who makes that shit happen because she started somewhere and she's starting here, right? So I'm every single day becoming more and more and more of the version of myself who lives that reality. I deserve the respect that I already have for that version of myself who's already living it, and I'm going to give it to myself now. There's no way that you're going to get there, that you're going to achieve those goals if you don't start treating yourself like that version of you who's already achieved them now. One of the main things that has continued to serve me again and again and again, and now we're kind of going into a bit more like money and money manifestation and energetics, is the importance of investing in yourself. And, this can be money, but it's also time and energy. Going back to just that example that I mentioned of, doing your skincare. Okay, that's 5 minutes. But that takes some time and energy when you just want to get into bed. But you are worthy of that investment of that 5 minutes of time and energy. And in the same way, the way that you spend your money, the way that you invest your money, think of it all as an investment in you. So this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video, that the way that you handle your money is a direct reflection of your own self-worth. When we are willing to spend $100 on drinks on a Saturday night, but then we aren't willing to buy vitamins, this is just an example, but, buy vitamins for ourselves, or buy, a skincare product that we feel is going to really like nourish our body and our skin, or invest in a course or a, coaching or therapy, anything that, or a book, right? I'm like just rattling off shit now, but anything that helps you to grow, right? Helps you to be the best version of yourself. When we consciously or not are spending that money elsewhere on things that actually aren't supportive for us at all, right? And this can be so many things, but I think one of the easiest to bring it to, especially like if you're in your 20s, is like, going out, drinking, partying, like the amount of money that you spend on that. And then you say, well, I don't have enough money to take care of myself, to take, good care of myself, and to support myself and invest in myself. But you do. It's just, where are your values at? Are your values in your growth and in your self-worth? Or are your values on these temporary pleasures that are really actually holding you back? So I invite you to kind of take inventory of that and ask yourself, how have you been respecting yourself and respecting your money? And how does the way that you spend your money or you handle your money reflect on your self-worth? Things that are priority for me to invest in are, I'd say, number one, my education and my mindset growth. And that has been, I've learned this lesson. This is the lesson that ignited everything that I have accomplished and will continue to accomplish, was learning this. And you can hear this from any great, spiritual teacher or motivational speaker or successful business owner. They all say this. And now that I'm telling it to you, maybe you'll open your ears more to hearing it and valuing it when you hear it from somebody else. But the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself and is in your education. For me, those first investments in my education were, I maxed out a credit card on a holistic health coaching school. I wanted to do that because I wanted to learn just holistic health. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, so I wanted to know how to heal my body, how to take care of my body. But I was really drawn to holistic health because it's not just about the body, but it's also about the mind and the spirit too. And that really lit a fire under my ass that helped me to continue investing myself and propel forward on the path that I'm on now. But I think that course was, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like $6,000. You guys, I think I was unemployed at this time. Yeah, I was unemployed. It's all a blur now. Like the whole pandemic is such a blur, but this was pre-pandemic actually. This was right before the pandemic. But I just had to quit my job because of my autoimmune disease. And I put that shit on a credit card because I was like, I'm just gonna take a leap of faith. And everything pulled me to do that. Everything was telling me, like, I don't know where this is going to lead me, but this is a step on the path. And of course, by now I've made that $6,000 back. Of course, by now I've paid off that card. Like it's not an issue for me anymore. But at the time, that was scary, right? That was like a very scary investment in myself. Then to make it even crazier, I then invested, I mean, I won't even throw out numbers, but I invested, I think it was another like $4,000 to $6,000 on a neurolinguistic programming course because I wanted to learn all about the subconscious mind, which one of the best investments I've ever made was learning about the subconscious mind. And I include all of this, by the way, you guys, everything that I've learned, I put into my courses for you guys so that, I take what's valuable, I take what's useful, and I condense it and for a much more affordable price because that's what I'm here for. So I'll link everything below for you guys. I'm currently enrolling for Align and Attract, which we go so deep into subconscious mind. I have a lot of neurolinguistic programming tools and techniques in there for you, especially in application to manifestation. So just gonna link that down below for you. But that was one of my biggest investments in myself. I took manifestation courses, energetic courses, money energetic and money mindset courses. Like I was just on a binge of like investing in myself. And I'm so thankful that I did because it all led me to here. It changed my life in such a rapid amount of time because I just basically what I saw it as is that I was putting myself through like another year of college is kind of what I saw it as. That I was creating a college for myself that was all about manifestation and mindset and energetics and the subconscious mind and holistic health. And I created this school of knowledge for myself and invested in myself and my mindset and my knowledge and my ultimately my growth in that way. And that has taught me one of the best lessons that I'm so thankful that I learned so young, that the greatest investment that you can ever make is in yourself, right? Before I go buy a new car, before I buy a house, I live in a beautiful house that I'm so thankful for now. That's another investment that I think is very important, is having a supportive environment that allows you to feel safe and comfortable. I believe that that's a very important, you should see that as an investment in your well-being. But before I go make any big purchases, I want to be better about this in the coming year, I asked myself, I have in the past, and I will continue to now moving forward, is there something else that I could invest in that would apply to my growth, right? Whether that's coaching, whether that's another course, although I feel like I have such a collection of so many courses now, it's like I can probably cool it for now. But how can I use this money to invest in my growth, in my well-being? And then moving beyond investing in, courses or education, like I said, your environment. And something that's huge for me is investing in the food that I put in my body and what I nourish my body with, because this is our vessel, right? Something my autoimmune disease has taught me, that if our vessel is not taken care of, really we don't have much to work with. Because on my bad days when I feel really sick, I really can't give anything. And making sure that I'm supporting myself through eating organic whole foods as often as I can. And this is something that's taken me, this is for a whole other podcast, but coming from somebody who's had an eating disorder, this has taken me like longer than I think it would take most people to kind of ground myself in these healthy ways of supporting myself in this way. But as I look towards my next level self, and granted I'm healed from my eating disorder, but as I look towards my next level self, I see that she nourishes her body even greater than I have in the past few years, and really prioritizes, like sunlight and movement and getting outside way more than I have in the last few years. So that's something that I'm personally working towards, because when I see that next level version of myself, it's like ingrained in her. It's just what she does, and how she is, and I believe that is what's going to help me break through to new levels of abundance and manifestation as well, and success, because I'm supporting myself on a deeper level of, again, my vessel, my body, and my health and my well-being. Anyways, so those are all just different ways that you can invest in yourself. And even from how you show up for your day, how you present yourself. And this isn't to be superficial, but I know I act a lot different when I'm done up, right? Like when when I've like done my hair and my makeup. I'm not saying you have to wear makeup every day. I sure as hell do not. I wear makeup like once a week, if that, but I show up differently when I at least have done like, my skincare. I've combed my hair. I've put on like a cute outfit and like a necklace, Arcana Malay. Even if I'm just like chilling at home and working from home, because I work from home, I show up to my day and the things that I have to do. Or for example, talking to you guys right now, like the energy that I'm carrying myself to present myself right now is far different than it would be if I was sitting here in, like sweats with my hair just like in a messy bun, like didn't shower today, didn't do my skincare. Like that lacks an energy of self-worth there. And it's apparent. It's visible to anybody who would see me if I go into the grocery store. It's visible to anybody. It's visible to anybody that I present myself to online, or it's visible to me too. As I walk by the mirror, I can see that I did not value myself today. I did not put time and energy into, just making myself feel good. And it's not to be superficial at all. It's just really like, I mean, if you think of like a crystal, or I'm looking at a crystal on my nightstand, or something that you really cherish. Let's say like you have like a designer bag. You don't just kind of like trash it and just like throw it wherever. Like you are like taking care of that thing because you value it. So you want to make sure it's preserved, it's taken care of. It's, we can look at the same way that we treat our environments. If we're trashing our environment, what does that say about your worth, your own self-worth, if you're allowing yourself to live somewhere that feels like that and is messy like that? Like that is not an energy of, I really see my value, I really see my worth, and I'm worthy of great things. It's just not, right? So even in the way that we present ourselves, even when it's just for ourselves. For example, today, like I took a long shower. I completely covered myself in like this really just like juicy, amazing moisturizer and body oil. I got fully ready, and I'm able to show up in just like this different energy that feels like the embodiment of my next level self, and I'll be honest and I'll admit, versus the last couple months, or I think a lot of us can relate over the last like year plus, since really the pandemic, just kind of more like letting myself just kind of like, for lack of a better word, and I don't want to say it like this, but kind of like look like shit sometimes, right? Just like kind of have my hair like fucked up and not doing my skincare, and just, not valuing myself in that way. But when I put myself together, I see visibly my value, and whether it's like a bit of a mind fuck, even, I just value myself differently. And also, it's just the way the world works, you guys, too. Like if I go to the grocery store and I'm carrying myself like I value myself, like I put time and energy into myself, other people reflect that back to you, versus if you walked in, with like a messy bun and sweatpants. And listen, I'm not saying anything, because I'm the first to like run errands like that 99% of the time. But it's, as I said, it's something I'm kind of even this year, for this next up level that I'm working towards, something I'm kind of beginning to examine a bit more is how I present myself to the world as well, because it is a reflection of your self-worth. So we're reaching an hour, but I just wanted to really quickly talk a little bit about money mindset as well, and just a shift to make with money, because I know that, we're talking about, how you handle your money is a direct reflection of your self-worth. And this, your self-worth, obviously, I've mentioned in multiple ways, requires an investment, right? Like, you're investing in yourself, you're investing in your well-being, you're investing in your education, you're investing by those healthy foods that you buy for yourself, by taking workout classes or paying for a monthly subscription at a gym or whatever it may be. These are monetary investments. And just like so is going to the bar and buying a round of shots for everybody for like $100 or like $200 if you live in LA. Like, these are investments, and we need to start seeing how we spend our money as a reflection of our worth and what is valuable to us, because money is just energy. Money is just a representation of an exchange of value. So what you value as $10, and then you buy something that is $10, whether obviously you're not consciously thinking this, but you value that thing that you receive for $10 as worthy of the $10, right? So now you have this thing that you value. It's just an exchange of value. That's all that money is. It doesn't need to be some like, abstract thing. And I think learning that and grounding money more in that way has helped me a lot to understand what my investments mean. Also realizing that when you allow money to flow, you are allowing it to work for you. Money does us no good when we just try to grasp onto it, hold onto it, and hoard it. But that is what we've been taught to do in society. And I could go into like a whole other thing of the shit that we've been taught to do in society. But at the end of the day, when you are hoarding that money, how is it serving you, right? When that money could be used to invest in yourself, to provide yourself with further education or food that's going to nourish your body. And the difference here, right, if we're even talking about food, going and eating fast food versus a organic meal, it's not going to be that great of a price difference really when we boil it all down. But there is an investment there, but you have to come back to what the value is to you. What is it worth to you? Is that exchange of value worth what you're getting in return, right? You can pay $10, let's say, for like McDonald's, I don't know. And what do you get in return? You're probably not going to feel that fucking good. Like, you're going to feel like shit. So really, like, you're kind of paying more in return for that than if you went and spent $15 for a salad somewhere, and you are now energized, you feel good. So you actually gain from it. So we need to stop seeing money, our investments, as something that we lose, and start seeing what we gain from them. In the same way, right? If you're going to the bar and you're going to go invest your money in a round of shots, what are you gaining from that? Really? Like, what are you gaining from that? Maybe like a fun time. Okay, true. Like, go off every once in a while. But also like probably a hangover. And I know me, like, these days, like, a hangover is gonna last, it's literally gonna cost me 2 days. It's unfortunate, but I've always had bad hangovers, and just as I get older, it's just worse and worse. So I'm not about it. Like, I cannot do it. Of course, you guys, I'm the first to go have a good time. I love a good time, but not the first. I won't say that, not anymore. But I do love a good time, but I definitely think of the investment and what that cost me, right? I value myself and think of what that investment cost me. In the same way, if I were to go invest in a course that was going to teach me a new skill or, help with my self-development, and I was going to pay like $2,000 for this course, I don't think about I'm losing 10,000, sorry, not 10,000. I'm losing, that'd be an expensive ass course. But I mean, they're out there. I wouldn't think like I'm losing $2,000. I would think, what am I gaining from this? What knowledge am I gaining from this? How am I going to be able to apply this and grow from it, and ultimately use what I gain from this to make far more than $2,000, because I'm freeing my mind. I'm learning new techniques to help me to show up as my best self, whatever it may be, right? I think of it in that way. I think of the value that things give to me more than what I am, quote unquote, losing to it, what I'm giving away. I think of money as a river that provides life, and money wants to flow to me, and money needs to flow from me in order to then also bring more money to me. And when I spend money, I don't think of how it is. If you think of how you are losing it, you will lose it, right? If you are growing a business and you are investing money in your business and you're seeing your investments as a loss, you're gonna fucking lose it. But if you see that investment as, yeah, I'm putting money out there temporarily, right? Like, I'm putting it out there temporarily, knowing that as I put it out there, it's going to flow back to me tenfold on return of investment, because this is enabling me or my business to grow in a different way. So you need to start seeing it that way and changing your perspective and energy around money, because the energy that you hold around money is what you will see in return. If you have this lack and scarcity energy around money, and you aren't letting the free flow of it from you, you aren't letting it flow from you, you're gonna have a hell of a lot harder time allowing it to flow back to you. Even if consciously you're like, well, I'm open for money to flow to me. Well, if you're grasping tight and not letting it flow from you, you aren't an open channel for it to flow back to you either. There's a quote that I love, and it says, life supports that in which supports life. Something like that. It's a Tony Robbins quote. Life supports that in which supports life. And basically how I see this is that the universe provides and supplies for that in which also provides and supplies, right? So more money comes to those who are also giving money, and from this essence of giving, for one, to provide life. And when you energetic hack with money is, let's say you're spending at a restaurant, don't see like, oh shit, that's a $200 bill. Don't think that. Think, I'm paying the waiter, and I'm paying the hostess, and I'm paying the busboys, and I'm paying the cooks, and I'm sure some of them have children, and I'm paying for their children's school clothes, and I'm paying for these people to be able to pay their rent, and for them to be able to pay their car payment so that they can go to work. Like, you are providing life with every dollar you spend. When you tip somebody that's, making your coffee, or you tip your waiter, or wherever you're spending money, don't think of what you're losing. Think of what you're gaining and what you're giving, and think of how you are supporting life, whether it is, regardless, when you are giving out money, you are supporting life of others, right? There's this exchange happening where others are getting some value in return, which then they can go to use to, like I said, pay rent, buy food, whatever it may be. But also see what you're gaining from it too. In the restaurant example, right? You just gained a beautiful, let's hope it's a beautiful, really great meal, right? That you really enjoyed. And in the same way, life supports that in which supports life. You're giving out, and you're also receiving great things in return. So whatever you are investing your money in, see what you're gaining from that. And this will help you to kind of get your ass in check too, about, like, again, what does your spending habits say about your self-worth? Are you investing in yourself and investing in your growth? And when you get that paycheck and it hits your account, are you using it in a way that supports your health and wellness and your growth spiritually, mentally, physically? Or are you using it to sabotage yourself? And you may not have seen it like that before. And I hope that now you move forward and start to kind of move in that way, and move more from an abundance mindset to shifting to seeing the power that you have over the ways in which you utilize money to serve you, to serve other life as well, and ultimately allow you to then expand and grow your capacity for creating more abundance in your life by taking $100, investing it in yourself to support yourself, to turn it into 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,000, 100,000, a million. That's really how it works, but it's about how you use it to utilize you versus use it to, keep you where you are. And again, to kind of like wrap this all up, it's about asking yourself, that version of you who's already living that life that you want to create, that life that you are working towards manifesting now, what would they do? What would they value, right? It's all about value. Money is just a physical manifestation of something that we can't hold, which is our value, how we see value in things. It's just another form of energy. It's the energy of our value. So ask yourself, what does that next level version of myself value? And what are the things that they invest in to support themselves in achieving what they've achieved and continuing to grow and being able to show up as their best selves every single day? And just sit with that, journal on that, and then begin to align to it now. And maybe your next level self is a multimillionaire and, invests in the best spa treatments and massages every week and has a personal chef and just all of these crazy things. Okay, let's ground it to you now, right? You can start eating holistic foods now. You can invest your time and energy in, doing an at-home, like, weekly spa day for yourself, and you can invest your time and energy in getting movement every single day. Ground it for yourself now. Meet yourself where you're at, and eventually you will get there. So I hope that this was valuable for you. I kind of like went off for like an hour straight. And I guess I kind of talked a little bit differently than some things that I thought that I was going to talk about or touch points on, but I'll save those things for another video. This is what wanted to pour out of me today. So here we are. We're always about following just our intuition. And my biggest thing is something I'm even trying to be better at is being less strict or restrictive of myself, of being like, this is what we're talking about today. I've been writing in a newsletter for 2 weeks now. I'll link it down below so you can get the backlog of it, but I'm doing it as a celebration for the 3rd round of my course, Align and Attract, which is all about manifestation, subconscious mind reprogramming, discovering your soul purpose, learning how to tap into your intuition, and embodying your higher self. A lot of everything we just talked about today. And something that I've been helping myself to do is release the pressure and the restriction of saying, like, you need to talk about this today, and you need to post about this today, and you need to, speak about this on your podcast today, because that restricts the flow of intuition, of channeled guidance, of whatever the universe knows that I actually need to be speaking, because it's going to land with somebody and help somebody, versus what I, as a human, think I should be talking about or saying. Like, it's so much more impactful and magical when it comes from an intuitively channeled space, when you just kind of let it go and just see what flows. So I hope that this was valuable for you. I feel like it's been medicine for me as well, and a lot of like what has been on my mind as we enter into the new year, as we are in the new year 2023, as I'm really grounding myself in my next up level. And I'm going to be taking the next round of Align and Attract with my students so that I can, take myself through the whole 8-step manifestation process as well, because I have some big goals that I am manifesting this year, and they're already underway, which is so crazy and so good. But I just feel like it really all is coming from that place of aligning and really getting clear on my next level self, and meeting myself there now, treating myself as her now, respecting myself, valuing myself as her now. And even within a couple of days of really realigning to that energy, I've seen it pay off. So I hope that this inspires you to do the same. And I would love to hear, just try it for a week. And I would love to hear what you experience. So you can DM me, comment below, come say hi on my socials. I'll link everything down below for you guys. But thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for sitting through an hour of me talking. I know I'm a bit of a talker. I make long videos and long podcasts, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try to get down to 30 minutes in the future. I always aim for 30 minutes and then I just don't. But with that, I love you. I'm sending you so much love and good fucking energy. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.